Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name's David, this is David K Reacts, and today I'm going to be checking out a brand new group on the channel, and they're a brand new group because they're a brand new group. This is Project Acapellion, which is an initiative set up by Casper Fox. He is the producer for the Bass Gang. And I have seen him on screen as well already, although not in quite this capacity. He was in the video for Hooked on a Feeling that the Bass Gang did with Tim, Faust, and also he stood in visually. I can't remember if he stood in vocally or not now. I've forgotten that fact, although somebody did tell me one way or the other, in Be Prepared, which was one of the videos I covered of theirs. More of their stuff to come in due course, but he has set up this initiative with Tomi P, who is a member of the Bass Gang, with Manav Sharma, who is new to me. I don't know that name, but I've seen on his channel he does low bass singer covers, so that makes me excited, and Jennifer Glatzhofer, who I know as a singer and a fellow reactor. I guess in the loosest sense of the term, worked together when I edited the Sing It Together tribute video that some of the VoicePlay Patreon fans put together for VoicePlay. If you haven't seen that, by the way, it's kind of cool, and I've never really talked about it, so there's going to be a card at the top of the screen linking to it. Do check it out. It's fun. Anyway, after that tangent, coming back to what I'm supposed to be doing right now, which is checking this out. And yeah, so I haven't actually heard any of Jen's singing outside of clips on Instagram because I want to put something on the channel, and so I will be getting to that in due course, but this crept up and it seemed like a good opportunity to jump on something new. So this is a cover of Imagine Dragons' Whatever It Takes. It's a song I'm not quite as familiar with. I know some of their other songs, Believer, of course, now I can't bring any other titles to mind, but I know 3 or 4 of their other songs better. They're not a band I've ever listened to intensely, but I enjoy their music anytime it comes on the radio, so I'm interested to see what they've done with this. I do know this song, I have heard it, but only a couple of times. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued to see what's coming my way. I don't have a crazy amount to say about this at this point in time, and I don't know an awful lot about the song to add in any context to that. I decided to kind of go in on this one blind rather than do research in advance. It kind of flips from video to video which one I choose. And we'll just see what's coming my way. So I'm going to kind of move forwards. So without any further delay, I will say welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. If it is, the way this works, I'm going to watch this video through from beginning to end. I will comment and emote over the top of it. This is a reaction, it's not just me watching the video, and I will then go back and watch it a second time, and this time I will pause, I will interrupt, and I will offer what commentary and analysis I feel I can based on what I've just seen and heard, as well as the foreknowledge of having seen the video once already. Please do like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell to decide how often YouTube tells you I'm posting stuff, usually 5 PM EST on a Friday. And if you would like to support the channel, you can do so in a number of ways. For a single one-off donation, you can head over to buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts. You can also join my Patreon. It's just a single tier of $2 Canadian a month at patreon.com/DavidKReacts. Besides just being a means of supporting my channel, it will also give you access to my Discord channel as well. There's a few very cool folks in there too currently. And also you can offer me a super thanks if you would like to, which is a sort of donation to make a more prominent comment on YouTube, and I will immediately get back to you as soon as I see it, and would be very appreciative if you would choose to do any of the above. And if not, that's fine too. I do have some thanks to offer. I had my list open on my phone, and then of course I let it close, but I do want to say thank you very much to Tina, who recently purchased several coffees for me. Thank you very much, Tina, I really appreciate that. And to Amanda and Jasper Tree, both of whom recently joined my Patreon. I am very grateful to you for doing that. And thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. You are all wonderful, and I am grateful to have you folks in my community. That's everything, I think, so here we go. This is Project Acapellion's cover of Imagine Dragons' Whatever It Takes.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in this world could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man. Everybody praying for the end
love
times. Everybody
the straight-in start.
I was born to run. I was born for this.
Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse. Pull me like a ripcord. Break me down and build me
that
up.
harmony.
I wanna be the slip, slip. Word up on your lip, lip. Let that you rip, rip. Break me down and build me up.
this sounds fantastic. I love the blend of the 4 voices.
You take me to the top, I'm ready for whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins.
Always had a fear of being difficult.
Hi, Tommy.
Looking at my body feeling miserable. Always hanging on to the visual. I wanna be invisible. Looking at my years like a martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be enough for the prodigal son. I was born to run. I was born for this.
Fantastic arrangement. This is great.
Like a ripcord, bring me down and fill me up. I wanna be the slip, word up on your lip, letter that you rip, bring me down and fill me up. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes. 'Cause I love how it feels when I break the chains. Whatever it takes.
I love the choice of having a very simple background and just moving around who we see at any given moment. It's a cool way of putting the video together.
'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins.
Critical, egotistical, don't wanna be the parenthetical, hypothetical, working on something that I'm proud of, out of the box and epoxy to the world and the vision.
This is a group of wide vocal ranges, isn't it? I can tell that.
Remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system of catastrophe, and yet a masterpiece, and yet I'm half diseased. And when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily. Leave the body.
Oh, I love what they're doing with the rhythm of the screen.
I do what it takes. Whatever it takes.
They're multiplying! Oh, nice.
I'll do what it takes.
Yes! Bravo! That is really cool. I really, really enjoy it. What a fantastic arrangement. And really well performed. I just want to see, whoops. If you haven't seen my channel before, by the way, I will always close this off when I'm checking off screen because I have a tendency to mistakenly leave tabs open and I'm behind NDAs for my work. It's just easier to take it down now than do it in post. Okay, so arrangement is Casper. Excellent job, Casper. Really nice arrangement. Mixing by Ed, of course. Mastering by Manav. Oh, very cool. And video by Ryan Tang. Excellent work, everybody involved in this. That's cool that Manav does mastering. I haven't seen anything of his channel. I suspect he will creep in sometime in the not-too-distant future onto mine. But that's awesome that there's somebody here who does, their own a cappella work and all that sort of stuff, but also has knowledge of mastering. Because mastering, I feel like, is a less common skill than I audio edit. It's that's something I'm comfortable doing, and I feel like there's quite a lot of audio editors out there, but I feel like masterers are few and far between by comparison. Mastering, if you don't know, editing, you kind of take the mix, you do all the work with it, you balance all the voices, you cut the tracks. If you want to splice in a different take by somebody, you do that. You put all the pieces together, and then you take your final product and send it to a masterer, and the masterer. I couldn't truly say exactly what they do. What I do know they do is they tinker. They make those fine polish adjustments that take something that's great and turn it into something that's truly fantastic. It's a skill I have no knowledge of, and I have a lot of respect for people who do it. So that's awesome. And I've also noted recently I want to take more note of who does mastering because it's a cool thing to be able to do. Love that Ed did the mix for this. Of course, he's great at that. And yes, great work on the arrangement, Casper. That is so much fun. I really like what they did there. If you saw me laughing towards the end shortly after I said they're multiplying, I had this really weird thought come through my head of the numbers in Battlestar Galactica. Which is just that thought. If you haven't seen Battlestar Galactica, that will make no sense to you. But specifically in the modern iteration of it from 2004, something like that. The androids in it, the Cylons, have models that look human. But all the number 6s, for example, will look the same, so you always know you're seeing a number 6. And I just had that thought for a random moment there when all of the multiples popped up. I don't know why that was where my brain went, but this is what happens when you're a sci-fi nerd as well as anything else. Anyway, with that thoroughly irreverent comment to one side, let's go back to the beginning, and I'm going to see what I can pull out of this.
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in as well could be dangerous.
I love the choice to start with just Casper on the screen, just Casper in the vocals, and this beautiful contrast we have here. This video is actually really impressive. You have this grayscale background, monochrome background, no interest. I mean, it's got interest to it. Yes, it's got this kind of cityscape that's going on there, but we can't see much detail. It's very blurred, and all we're seeing is shadow, silhouette. And yet Casper in front of that pops so well because, of course, he's clear, in focus and in bright colour. And it's just such a great choice to have that start because it draws the eye even more to what we're supposed to be paying attention to. Plus the fact that he's dead centre of the screen helps as well. But it's just a really, really nice way to start this. I also like that it starts straight away on the lyrics. This song has an introduction, I believe. I can't remember how long it is off the top of my head, but there is an instrumental introduction. And I think that for this arrangement, starting off like this really kind of gives us a push. It's a running start. We're not going from a standing start. We're not leading into this song. We're just there straight away, and I love that. Spacebar. Why you hate?
Falling too fast to prepare for this. Tripping in as well could be dangerous. Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the...
So much to love in this. Firstly, kudos to Casper. The being able to do, to sing this fast and to enunciate, and also because it's on a single note too, it's one of those things, when you hear a melody, you have something to follow. When it's just something that's extremely monotone and it's just coming out and there's no differentiation whatsoever, especially when it's incredibly quickly and incredibly fast and there's not really a lot of differentiation. Hopefully that made some kind of sense. It's harder to draw focus because there's less melodic interest because it's a single note, which is what this song does. And it's fast, which makes it harder to pick up on the vowel sounds that are in between the consonants, or harder to enunciate the consonants. One or the other, people usually slip on one. This is very, very clean. I'm impressed with that. And the fact that we run from that and we just get this boom from Tomi. Great way of running into adding in an instrument. It's lovely that we add the bass. I think that having the slide there works beautifully. And then what I really love is when you get the boom at the bottom, two things kick in. One is Tomi is including percussive sounds in his bass. It's not just it's boom. I'm not sure how he's doing it, but there is a bass hit that comes in there. So we have rhythm by the gallon based on what Casper is doing, but we now have a rhythm section. We haven't just added a bass, we've added a rhythm section because there is some percussive sense to what he's doing. The second thing I love is this pulse in the background. If you've ever sat and watched a speaker and you've got something really bass heavy on, every time you get a hit, it'll boom, the front of the speaker cone will punch forwards. That's just what speakers do. That's what they've got going on. So the visual element of like zooming in for a second and zooming back out again kind of represents that. But the bit I particularly love is the burst of color that comes with that. What a cool way of representing that bass sound, that punch at the bottom of the arrangement, not just with the motion, but with the inclusion of color. And it brings something out. And what's also cool, the person who's bringing the color into the video is wearing black. Just the use of contrast in this video is really clever.
Everybody circling as vultures. Negative, nepotist. Everybody waiting for the fall of man.
Great
Everybody
stuff.
praying by the end of times. Everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run. I was born for this.
And it's so clean. Like the fact that the bass and the drum is all that really comes in there, it doesn't distract in any way from what's going on. Oh, sorry, my Fitbit just told me I hit 10,000 steps. Apparently waving your arm counts as walking. What was was I saying? Oh, yeah, it's a powerful addition to the bottom, but it complements really well while still leaving so much space in the arrangement. There's tons that can happen from here. Visually speaking, which immediately happens. Texturally speaking, which immediately happens. Like, so many things change straight away because there are so many places to go from where we set up. Love that very, very much.
And at times, everybody hoping they could be the one.
Also, great tone Tommy's getting down there as well. Really like that.
I was born to run, I was born for this.
And then we get this swipe transition up, bringing in this vibrant color. Complete contrast even to the colorful section we've just had. This kind of aurora sunset flame thing that's going on behind. It's a great look. I really like what they've chosen. And what comes up in front of that? Somebody wearing white. Total contrast to what we just had. We've now focusing on Manav, who is a new vocal element who's come in. So is Jen. So we have two new elements coming in straight away. But I love that the person in the front is now wearing white. It draws the eye because it's something so different to what we just had. Really, really smart video work here. What I also love, you have Casper and Jen. They've come in. They are either side and behind, so we know they're supporting, or at least that's the visual appearance. But they look similar in the sense that they both have brown hair. They're both wearing sort of this red burgundy color top. It's a very kind of uniform look. Not symmetrical, but pushing towards symmetry. And that's a really, really nice choice. And then to blur them out slightly, have them slightly out of focus, allows the eye to focus on what Manav is doing at this point in time. It's such a great shift from having two people off-center, looking asymmetrical in a very different setting, visually speaking, to what we then come into here. Really nice how they're playing with the video.
And at times, everybody hoping they could be the one. I was born to run, I was born for this.
Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse, pull me like a ripcord, break me down.
Oh, love that chord. That's not in the original, I don't think. I'll have to listen to it again after this and confirm that. But it's beautiful what they're doing here with this descending sequence, and then you get into that really nice, there's a chord you can really bite into right there. And it's great the effect that we're getting here, where it's just the whip, whip, racehorse. It's only those words that are getting harmony and additional vocals. Everything else is being left for Manav to do, which is really nice arrangement, because it means that harmony's quite punchy when it comes in, because we're not listening to extended chords, we're listening to these punchy notes that happen. And they're supporting those notes, those repeated words as well. It's two repeated chords, the same chord for each note, over two repeated words. Really, really nice choice. And I really like how it contrasts. You have this descending motion, while every time Manav sings it, on the melody, I'm pretty sure it's the same note.
Whip, whip, run me like a racehorse, pull me like a ripcord, break me down and build me up. I wanna be the...
And then Bill... Oh, that's a weird screen to pause on. There we go. Build me up goes up, which is not what we've just been trained to expect. It's this whip, 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 whip. Ah, we're going down, you kind of expect to go to there, or maybe down to there, but instead we go to this build me up, whatever the note is that they sing that's way up. So it completely subverts where we're leading naturally with the harmony, and I really like that choice to jump up there.
Horse, pull me like a ripcord, break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, slip, word up on your lip.
And now we come in with the ooh for this next one, and then Tommy's going to interrupt. We've got this, we're now fracturing that sort of structure that we just built, which is great. But before we go into that, what I love,
Break me down and build me up. I wanna be the slip, slip.
now we've switched sides. There's a thing in movie, I'm going to tangent for a second here, and this is mostly relevant. If you're having a conversation between two people in a movie, one of the most common things you'll have is you'll have the camera over somebody's shoulder, just behind usually, so you can see a bit of it. And you'll see the person that they're talking to in front of them. If I'm talking to you that way, let's say it's my left shoulder that the camera is over. You're turning facing the other way, watching me. It will be your right shoulder that the camera is over, so that when it cuts, we have one of us like this, one of us like this. It kind of, even though we're cutting between two shots and two people, it looks like you're talking to each other. It's just a visual aid that makes a conversation very easy to understand in a visual medium. That rule gets broken all over the place because people who know the rule can break it. That's fine. My point with this is we've had this thing of Casper on the left of the screen, Jen on the right, and then we just switch them. and we bring them into focus. But it's this fascinating thing of it just transitioning into this next stage of the verse. We just flip sides and completely upturn what we were just looking at. And it would be one thing if we were going to stick to that. We're actually going to bring Tomi in as well and break that symmetry even more. But it's such a simple thing to do, but it's striking because it upsets what your brain accepts as the norm for a few seconds. Really kind of cool. I love what's going on with this. I do want to also comment on the music. I'm doing a lot of visual stuff here because this video is really cool. But the musicality of what's going on here is great. Manav's got a lovely voice. What I was commenting about vocal ranges is because he's singing higher here than we're going to hear him sing later. And if he's a low bass singer, he obviously has a lot more to go down. And I love that we're kind of getting that variety here from everybody, really. But also the blend of Casper and Jen behind, just doing... We've got these very simple 3-chord harmonies, or 3-note harmonies, I think. I've said before on my channel many times, I'm not that great at pulling something apart quickly. I could sit here and do it with a piano, which I don't have space for in my current room. But doing it on the fly, I'm not so great at. So my apologies if I'm wrong about that, but I think it's just the 3 notes at this point. But the harmony the 3 of them are forming together on these notes is fantastic. And then you have Manav going off with this great melody. Like his voice is great for this song. And then we're going to add more and more harmony as we move on. I love the simple, very, very literal lip. And I love that now we've added a new element. Now we have Tomi doing the bass version of what Casper and Jen were doing a few seconds ago. So we've kind of got some similarity here. The same thing is happening, but it's completely different, if that makes any sense. And at the same time, Casper and Jen bring in a whole new element, which is these long notes that drop out a little bit for some of the bass stuff. This is the way they're playing with the music here is great. And so much to love here. The ooh-ah that we have there, and then it extends the ooh-ah, and they hold it on, and then suddenly you get surprise double Casper and Jen pop up as we go into the chorus, the others disappear, and now we've rearranged the screen again. Now we have a different view behind. I think this is, it's not the same one. We've got a totally different setting with the treble clef in the background, which is really cool. I love the idea that we previously had buildings, because when my brain saw this on my first watch through, I went, there's a building shaped like a treble clef, that's cool. Which of course is not what we're going for, but for a moment, my brain interpreted it that way. Yeah, love what's going on here. This is awesome. Oh, sorry, I'm going back one more time, but something I just heard there. The note that Tomi hit, the rip, rip, rip. Don't know if that's remotely in key, I can't hear my own subs. Implies that harmony that we were getting before, which is really nice, and then we get a little hint of it from Jen and Casper. But I really, the way that this arrangement evolves and progresses, whilst also staying kind of the same in some ways, is awesome.
Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes.
Really great how we get this, the quite high pitched. You've got this, because you have Jen right up at the top, but doubling Casper in the octaves. And then you have the harmony underneath. You have this really wide layering that's going on, especially with Tomi. His very first note as we switch. Jumping up that octave there, down there. We've got this huge range. I don't know what it is right now. Maybe in post I'll try and figure it out and stick a note here if I do. But this is very wide. And one of the things that doesn't always work is with really wide harmony. And I'm not talking about, if you've got Voctive and you've got 11 people singing 11 different notes across a giant range. That's fine, because that's filled in. But when you have just a few voices, but you're still working with that width, it can feel extremely empty. And what they've done here is avoid that, which is fantastic. Really good.
Break me down and build me up. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins.
Now, obviously, they've partly achieved that by doubling. I was just going back to listen to see how much there is. I feel like there's maybe 3 voices singing the R harmony that we can see Manav representing here. I'm guessing Casper's probably doubled himself. Maybe Jen as well. I'm not 100% sure. But it's nice because it fills that out. And even though you do only have the 4 of them singing because they've doubled themselves up a little bit, it feels so much fuller and it allows these highs, which this song does. Whatever it takes. No, not trying that. Whatever it takes. It does. It sails up there, and this still feels like there's a lot of padding underneath it, filling it out and giving us this lush sound. It's great stuff. These shifts are so good. I love how it's just like you drop out and then a few seconds later drop back in again, but we've now rotated the order inwards. Really cool stuff. Also, who's doing the vocal percussion for this? I feel like maybe Casper, because I feel like maybe in a later shot you see Casper kind of making those mouth shapes, but I'm also guessing, so if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. It's very cool. I love the sound that they're working with here. It works really well for this. What I do like about bringing Manav into the center in this section, we now have the melody singers on the outside, which draws a little attention to the harmony and the bass. We see what their mouths are doing. Your eye is fairly naturally drawn to the middle of a screen, and it brings just a tiny hint of focus. And I like that. Throughout this arrangement, you never feel like the harmony takes second place. It's always just as present as everything else. I like that a lot. And here you're also sharing the import of the melody by switching out Jen and Casper. You kind of almost naturally hear Jen a little bit more because when there's doubling in octaves, you have a tendency to hear either the extreme low or the extreme high, and what's in the middle doesn't disappear in any way, shape or form, but tends to blend back a little bit. So it's nice that we actually get that focus in this moment, that there are 2 people singing the same thing in different registers. It's nice. Also, I think it's a really good blend here, because if a song like this that is quite high, it does sit fairly high, having that the whole way through the chorus without that lower octave support might be a little bit kind of too broken up in distance of what we're hearing, and so by having that double underneath it, it supports that height and allows it to be consistent. Really, really nice. That, again, great arrangement work on Casper's part. And I love that. You have Jen right up here, adrenaline in my veins. Whatever it takes. Comes in from Tomi. That huge drop. It's just, again, it catches the ear. It pulls us in because all of a sudden something extremely different is happening. Great arrangement work there. And I like that there are slight... Tomi disappearing off screen. There are slight associations with screens. We get Tomi on his own. We kind of get a little bit of what it looked like when he first came in, where we go back to that monochrome cityscape look. And then we come back to this kind of blue, more blue, because there was a blue and an orange. Lots of different looks here. And as we shift between them, they all work. It's great. I don't know. There doesn't feel... I'd be interested to know if I'm missing a logic to which one is which, because I feel like it's not quite always representative of what we saw of a group before, but I might be wrong about that. That's something I'm not going to take the time to fish through the video and look for now. Regardless, I love these blues and oranges against the red, the sort of the deep red, the white and the black that we're getting of the clothing. It's really, really well thought out coloring, I think. Excuse me.
Always had a fear of being typical, looking at my body feeling miserable, always hanging on to the visual, I wanna be invisible.
That's so nice too. We get this lovely work from Casper again with this really pacey singing, and then we just bring Manav in both visually and audibly at the same time with that lovely harmony line. And again, those two, the blend of the voices is fantastic. Really, really like that. I also love this do 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 thing that we've got going on in the back.
My body feeling miserable, always hanging on to the visual. I want.
And it's that sort of thing. Do 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 do. You've got d d and d, and that d at the end is so much less, but it works because of where it is in the musical phrasing as well. This d d d d d d d d d d d d. It's, you would draw a line in music almost. D d d d d d. The r at the end, where they come back onto the note again, is slurred into, whereas the other two are very separate. And so you'd have a natural thing. You could do it as d d d d d d d d d d, but it's a bit more abrupt. It would give us a very different sound in the background. Having all of them as a hard D would be quite aggressive. And it allows it to have that sort of balance between having a bit more of a hit and a bit more of a holdback on that slurred note. Really, really nice articulation.
Being typical, looking at my body feeling miserable, always hanging on to the visual. I wanna be invisible, looking at my ears like a martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be.
This is, I think, one of the shots that made me wonder if Casper is doing the vocal percussion. Yeah, do let me know on that, because regardless, it's very cool, whoever's doing it, so great work. But it just, I couldn't decide if this is a do 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 do, or whether there's a little bit more percussion there.
Invisible, looking at my ears like a martyrdom. Everybody needs to be a part of them. Never be enough for the prodigal son. I was
No, never mind, sorry, this is not the shot I was thinking of, this is the do's.
born to run, I was born for this.
Really nice timing between Casper and Manav too, like being that quick and precise. Like they're really together throughout that whole section, which is really cool.
Needs to be a part of them. Never be enough for the prodigal son. I was born to run, I was born for this.
Run me like a racehorse, pull me like a whipcord, bring me down and fill
And oh,
me up. I wanna be racehorse, pull me like a whipcord, bring me down and fill me.
oh, nice things here. One, I like we've changed the harmony. I like that they're doing different things, each of them.
Run me like a racehorse.
Run me like a racehorse from Manav in the back there. That da 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 da. I love that little up before we go down thing. And then you get this beautiful chromatic descent from Jen.
Pull me like a whipcord, bring me down and fill me.
Bring me down and Bill. Da 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 da. Lovely descent at that point. Just the same but different. We have different person providing harmony and being the focal point of the backing vocals. We have a different singer performing the melody. It's still the same thing, but we're getting a different version of it. Really like this. The range that is being demonstrated. This is a great song for showing off what this group can do, because everybody gets a minute, both as the harmony and as the front person melody, which is great for demonstrating a new group. Really, really great work.
Run me like a racehorse, pull me like a whipcord, bring me down and fill me up. I wanna be the slip, word up on your lip, letter that you rip, bring me down and fill me up. Word up on your lip, letter that you rip, bring me down.
Now I'm trying to decide if my headphones are not quite good enough to hear the bass being like a num 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 num, or now if I'm thinking actually is it Tomi who's doing the vocal percussion. I'm going to give up giving up unless I see something significantly clearer than that. Give up guessing, I should say, because I got nothing right now, and it's not listed as far as I could tell in the description, and I don't know any of their individual work well enough to know who's capable of doing this. So please tell me.
And fill me up, whatever it takes.
That's cool too.
Bring me down and fill me up, whatever it takes.
I love that you get that flash, and Jen just comes straight back again. We don't get a change that time. We get a transition into the same scene we were just in, but we transition out of verse Jen into chorus Jen for a second, which is really nice because it allows us to have that quick change there, and it feels natural leading into it. But it also says, hey, something different's happening. And it's only for a second, and then we get this change, this swipe transition up.
Letter that you rip, bring me down and fill me up, whatever it takes.
And that, you could, on these headphones at least, it's almost like a rumble Tomi's first note there. I'm not getting the full tone of it, and it's so effective. Because it drops out the bass, you get the you almost lose the tone for a second, at least the way I'm hearing it, but you still get the feel of it, and it's such a nice way of doing it. And it's a natural moment to put something like that in as we transition into the next section. The way they're doing this is really smart. I love their, again, beautiful harmony going on. I like that we have two Caspers now. We're starting to get multiples of people more often. We had Manav a minute ago, now we have Casper. Then everything shifts again. We've now gone back to a trio. And it's just the way this is all shifting around is awesome because it allows us to focus in on both the visual and the vocal of everybody. And this is one of those great moments where Jen is the melodic focus, and yet she is not center screen. And this does have, at least, if not in look, in terms of clothing and things like that, there is still the symmetry of one in the middle, one on either side, but it's one of the people on the side who is technically the vocal focus. That's awesome. And yet we have the two singing the harmony, very much unbalancing the screen towards the right of the screen. Very cool. Ooh, nice! Love the height there, that little slight dip up and back down again from Jen. Gorgeous stuff. I love that we've got Tomi here, obviously, working away at the background, but therefore getting his moment to be seen as well. And what's clever here is, because he is the support in the bass, he is set back slightly still further. Now we have two in front, one at the back. All this play with focus is fantastic. And now Jen takes that same place, except she is the absolute focus of what we're listening to, but is the defocus of what we're seeing. Great stuff.
Critical, egotistical, don't wanna be the parenthetical, hypothetical.
Great choice here. I really like what's happening here, because now we're almost blending in more. We've got the white top blending in with white lights behind. The contrast is being reduced slightly and kind of focused around the face. Really, really lovely work. I know there's blue and green in there as well, but I love that we have the little bit of smoke in there, so we're getting the rays of these lights. It's this lovely focus. Great moment in the song to pull back, have that moment where we have the slightly EQ'd vocals in the background, and we have a little bit more focus on this one vocal moment. And this is also where I was saying Manav is singing lower, and it's lovely to hear these change in ranges from everybody.
Don't wanna be the parenthetical, hypothetical, working on something that I'm proud of, out of the box.
Interesting here too, we have a moment where the vocals are now out of focus because of the way they've been EQ'd, and yet the visuals of the people are not. This is awesome. Also, I just realized, is Casper wearing purple contact lenses? To go in with the color of the shirt or something like that. That's kind of awesome. But yeah, I really like the play in the change of, okay, now the visuals are doing one thing and the vocals are now doing what the visuals were previously doing. Lovely, lovely switching around.
Hypothetical, working on something that I'm proud of, out of the box, an epoxy to the world and the vision we've lost. I'm an apostrophe, I'm just a symbol to remind.
There's too much to love in this, and there's so much going on, it's difficult to try and talk about it all. I love Manav's tone here. This very much, it sounds very casual, the way he's singing everything down here, almost like he's talking to me. And it's effortless. It sounds so good. And I love that he's singing it supported by it's almost like padding, isn't it? These EQ'd vocals, there's something soft about them. And then we go into this lovely set of bell chords here with the flickering images behind, which somehow aren't distracting, and I don't know how they're not. They almost should be, but they're not. Great work on the video there, but I love we get this do-do-do, going on behind. It just changes up what we're hearing all the time.
And the vision we've lost, I'm an apostrophe. I'm just a symbol to remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system.
Also, we're getting lower notes from Jen here. Do, do, do. Whereas wherever it takes, all the way up there. Now we're do, do. We're a couple of octaves down almost from where we were, I think. But I love that we're getting that now. We've got this. Manav is singing lower, Manav is singing quieter. The harmonic blend has come down to meet him there. Lovely stuff.
To remind you that there's more to see. I'm just a product of the system, a catastrophe, and yet a masterpiece, and yet I'm half diseased. And when I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily.
Oh, I'm just listening to it because I'm so sort of enraptured by what I'm seeing. This is wonderful stuff. I really, really love the use of rhythm here between the vocals in the backing and the melody. We've got this masterpiece, da 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 da, because you have this do 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 do, and the masterpiece do do do. So when Casper is singing his note, Manav doesn't have a syllable or a note of his own. Then he bounces off Jen's, so you have Tomi and Manav, just Casper, Jen and Manav, just Manav. So you're constantly varying how many voices we're hearing do something at once, which is amazing use of layering. We've kind of got this constant up down balance, which keeps it so fascinating. But because it's split between melody and backing vocals, it's very unintrusive. It just allows this extra layer to come onto what we're hearing without getting in the way at all. Wonderful stuff.
And I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily.
This I loved so much. You get the boom, ba, boom, ba. It would have been very easy with this to kind of do boom, ba, boom, ba. And so you would have had the screen pop up out of time. Obviously it makes sense for it to be in time with the drum, because it's not like there's another drum that's on the beat, so that third beat there is a drum hit that we're not in time with. It's going purely with what it's hearing, and it's just so nice to have that visual match. Really, really nice. And then in the next one, if I recall correctly, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have that offbeat drum, the syncopation in the drum and the visuals.
I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily. Leave the body and my soul to be part of thee.
I do.
Nice touch too, not to fade. I think there's one.
I am deceased, at least I go down to the grave and die happily.
I think it's only when we're having that syncopation it fades to black, right?
And when I am deceased, at least I go down to
If I stop it right here, we can still see everybody.
the grave and die
It's only there that it fades to black.
happily. Leave the
Because everywhere else, we've got this faint image. I love that. So it's just more than a beat for a full... It's fading faster than that, and they could fade to black if they wanted to. But the way they've chosen to represent this, it's not fading out until a full beat has passed. Which means because most of this isn't a full beat, they never quite fade out. Lovely touch.
body and my soul to be part of thee.
And then we get the moment of black. No visual, no audio, just black. And then Jen comes
I
in.
do what it takes.
And I love that she comes in over the black. We just get Jen pop up on screen. I do what it takes. Again, lower. Nowhere near the high notes that she's just been singing. She's about to go back up to. And then she fades down. We get more of the background color here. One, because we're prepping for all the Battlestar Galactica Cylons to come on. But also because we've just... the space has shrunk down. There's more background here. We can see more of what's going on behind them. The treble clef is now fiery orange. Lovely stuff.
To be part of thee.
I do what it takes. Whatever it takes.
And now we start to see what I think is probably the full way that this has been harmonized. Where we have 4 Caspers, 3 Jens, 2 Manavs, and a Tomi. I don't know if that's the exact number, but I feel like the idea of there being 10 vocal lines in this is quite viable because of how rich the sound is that we're getting. Love this.
I do what it takes. Whatever it takes. 'Cause I love the adrenaline in my veins. I do what it takes.
And I love that. I think there really is only one of Tomi here, and yet he's still coming through under this barrage of everybody else. You can hear this, and it's because he's switched now from these. We've not got that cell. We've now got that loud, big resonance. He's changed to a much wider sound, and so he pushes through the whole crowd. It's great. And we can still hear him now. And I think that's partly just because it's been mixed really well, which it's Ed, of course it has. But also we've been trained to listen for that register because of the... And so when he closes his mouth and goes smaller now with these... you still know it's there because that element is filled in our ears, and so we hear it really clearly. Lovely arrangement work, lovely mixing work, wonderful performances. Okay, now we've got multiple Tommys. Then I go back to saying it was a single Tomi on the bass. And maybe he's double-tracked, I'm not sure. But I get the impression it's not being reinforced that heavily, and we're still hearing it. This is one of the things of doing this live. I keep forgetting, I've seen this precisely once before this cycle of viewing, so I'm just trying to interpret. And maybe I'm wrong about some of this stuff, but I feel like earlier it was a single Tomi. Or at most a double-track Tomi. But the point is, there aren't 2 or 3 Tommys harmonizing very close to the register he's at. That's more what I was driving at with that anyway, so I think that point stands. This harmony is incredible, incidentally. The sound that they've got, it's so full. Which, of course it is. They've got a lot of people singing. But I love that they're doing with just the 4 voices. You can hear Jen sitting still at the top of the harmony mix, but much lower register than the whatever it takes Jen that's up there. There's a lot of variety going on in this, and it's great because, when you have multiples of the same person, all of these people I know do sort of similar things, I think, on their channel, or at least have experimented with it before. I don't know about Jen, actually. I know she sings... I need to explore more of your work, Jen, but I know you do stuff with, there's the 2 of you that perform together. Forgive me, I don't know the gentleman's name who plays guitar and sings with you. Have you done this kind of thing before? I will find out. But I saw on Manav's channel, I think, definitely on Casper's, that they do multi-track videos. And so they know what they're doing. Ed also knows what he's doing. But if people aren't so familiar with what they're doing with this, it can sound too much like the same person. They've managed to make it sound really well, like it's a breadth of people, but I think because of the range that they're using in this, and the fact that they're all displaying wide ranges in their own vocal registers, which is lovely stuff. Lovely momentary drop out there as we go back into whatever it takes again. Really nice choice. Again, refocuses us. We get the from Tomi going back in again, pulls us back into his line. There's lots of things here that just remind you, hey, this is going on too. And we have this gradual shifting around until we get back to the 4 of them for the ending. Lovely, lovely. And such a fun way to end. Again, this really high-pitched chorus going through, ending with that bass, which they've established, so it makes sense that that's how it ends, but it's also really cool. It's kind of cool, the way this video looks to me, it's almost like we're seeing somebody doing their battle planning. Like, they've got one of those tables and they're moving the figures around that represent the singers in this case. But it's like we're seeing those movements, the way that they drop out, come back in again, and then that final shift around, shifting all the pieces into the right place. Really cool concept for a video. And fantastic performances. I really, really enjoyed that. Well done, everybody involved. Casper, great initiative. The 4 of you, fantastic performances. And that video and all the stuff that's gone on behind the scenes in both video and audio is wonderful stuff. I foresee fantastic things for Project Acapellion. This was brilliant as a debut, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you folks have to come next, because I love it. Great work. I hope that you had a good time too watching this with me as well. Thank you, especially if you're still here at the end of it. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. I didn't say it earlier, but please do check in the description. If for some crazy reason you're watching this before you've seen the original is linked in the description down below. Please do check it out. And yeah, these folks are awesome. Follow. This is on Casper Fox's channel. I've linked to that below as well as everybody else's channels. But do please follow them, and let's wait and see what else is coming, because it's going to be cool. I know that. Yeah, but thank you for watching with me. I really appreciate it. Please do like the video, subscribe to my channel if you're not already. I'd really appreciate that. Hit the notification bell. It'll tell you can decide how much YouTube notifies you that I'm posting something. And if you care to support the channel, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/DavidKReacts or patreon.com/DavidKReacts, or by leaving a super thanks comment on my YouTube channel. Any of those gratefully received if that's something you would like to do. Thank you so much for watching with me. I really appreciate it. I hope that you got something out of this, be it the group, the song, or you may have heard the Imagine Dragons cover, but this version of the song, whatever it happens to be. Even if it's just you've seen this a bunch of times because you really like it, but I pointed out something you hadn't seen before. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to do here. So if I manage that, then that's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves. Have an absolutely wonderful afternoon, evening, morning. I don't know, what should we go for today? 11:26 a.m. I'll get somebody one of these days. Look after yourselves. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.